How to collaborate with stakeholders, PMP Task 9 explain. Domain 1, people, so Task 9. Collaborating with stakeholders is one of the most practical and most tested more skills on the PMP exam. It goes far beyond just communicating updates. In this video, I'll break down Task 9 from Domain 1. Collaborate with stakeholders. We'll cover the 4 enablers, what the exam really expects, how Agile handles stakeholder collaboration differently, and I'll finish with a practice question. Let's get into it. Task 9, collaborate with stakeholders. Task 9 sits in Domain 1, people, which makes up 42% of the PMP exam. The task statement is, collaborate with stakeholders. There are 4 enablers. First, evaluate stakeholder engagement needs. Second, optimize alignment between stakeholder needs, expectations, and project objectives. Third, build a trusting relationship between stakeholders and the project team. Fourth, engage stakeholders by category. Each enabler addresses a different dimension of collaboration. Let's go through them. Collaboration is more than communication. Before we go into the enablers, let's be clear about what collaboration actually means. Communication is one-way or two-way information exchange. Collaboration is active, joint participation toward a shared goal. On the PMP exam, collaboration means involving stakeholders in decisions, not just informing them, seeking their input, not just reporting status, building trust, not just managing expectations. Any answer that treats stakeholders as passive recipients of information is almost certainly wrong on a collaboration question. Enabler 1. Evaluate stakeholder engagement needs. The first enabler is evaluate stakeholder engagement needs. Different stakeholders need different types and levels of engagement. Some need frequent updates, others need to be consulted only at key milestones. On the PMP exam, this is tested in scenarios where the project manager must decide how to engage a specific stakeholder. The correct approach is to assess what that stakeholder actually needs based on their interest, influence, and role, not to apply the same engagement approach to everyone. Stakeholder engagement levels. A key model the exam tests is the Stakeholder Engagement Assessment Matrix. It describes 5 levels of stakeholder engagement. Unaware. The stakeholder does not know about the project or its impact. Resistant. The stakeholder is aware but opposed to the project. Neutral. The stakeholder is aware but neither supports nor opposes. Supportive. The stakeholder is aware and supports the project. Leading. The stakeholder is actively engaged and promotes the project. The project manager's job is to move stakeholders from their current level towards supportive or leading through targeted engagement. Enabler 2, optimize alignment between stakeholders and project. The second enabler is optimize alignment between stakeholder needs, expectations, and project objectives. Misalignment between what stakeholders expect and what the project delivers is one of the most common causes of project failure. On the exam, alignment is tested in scenarios where a stakeholder's expectations differ from the project plan. The correct response is to engage the stakeholder, understand their perspective, and find a way to align, not to ignore the gap or override their concerns. Alignment is an ongoing activity, not something done once at project kickoff. Key term. Trust is the foundation of stakeholder collaboration. Trust is mentioned explicitly in Task 9, and it is tested throughout Domain 1. Stakeholders who trust the project manager share information openly, support the project actively, and raise concerns early, before they become problems. Trust is built through consistency, transparency, and follow-through. On the exam, any answer that involves being transparent, honest, or proactive with stakeholders is almost always correct. Any answer that involves hiding information or managing perceptions is almost always wrong. Enabler 3, build a trusting relationship with stakeholders. The third enabler is build a trusting relationship between stakeholders and the project team. Trust is not automatic. It is built through consistent behavior over time. How the exam expects you to build trust. Deliver on commitments. Do what you say you will do. Be transparent. Share both good news and bad news promptly. Listen actively. Show stakeholders their input matters. Involve stakeholders in decisions, especially those that affect them directly. On the exam, a stakeholder who is disengaged or resistant is almost always a trust problem, and the solution involves engagement, not pressure. Enabler 4. Engage stakeholders by category. The fourth enabler is engage stakeholders by category. Not all stakeholders are the same, and the exam tests whether you tailor your engagement. High influence, high interest, engage frequently, involve in decisions. High influence, low interest. Keep satisfied, do not overwhelm with detail. Low influence, high interest. Keep informed, respond to their questions. Low influence, low interest. Monitor only, minimal engagement. This is the power interest grid, one of the most tested frameworks in stakeholder management. Know it and know what engagement strategy applies to each quadrant. Agile/hybrid note. Stakeholder collaboration in Agile. In Agile environments, stakeholder collaboration is built into the process, and this is tested on the exam. The product owner is the primary stakeholder representative in Scrum. They collaborate with the team daily, prioritize the backlog, and accept deliverables. Sprint reviews are a formal collaboration point. Stakeholders attend, see working software, and provide feedback. This feedback directly shapes the next sprint. In Agile, collaboration is continuous, not a scheduled activity. On the exam, if a scenario involves a sprint review or product owner, you are in Agile stakeholder collaboration territory. Watch out. 3 common exam traps. 3 traps that catch candidates on stakeholder collaboration questions. Trap 1. Treating all stakeholders the same. The exam expects tailored engagement based on influence and interest. One size fits all is always wrong. Trap 2. Hiding bad news from stakeholders. Transparency always wins on the PMP exam. Sharing problems early, even uncomfortable ones, is always the right approach. Trap 3. Escalating stakeholder conflicts immediately. The project manager is expected to engage directly with resistant stakeholders first, understand their concerns, build trust, and find alignment before involving senior management. Quick summary. Task 9. Let's recap. Task 9. Collaborate with stakeholders. Enabler 1. Evaluate engagement needs. Assess what each stakeholder needs. Tailor your approach. Enabler 2. Optimize alignment. Close the gap between expectations and project reality continuously. Enabler 3. Build trust. Deliver on commitments. Be transparent. Listen actively. Enabler 4. Engage by category. Use the power/interest grid to prioritize engagement. Collaboration is not communication. It is active, joint participation, and trust is what makes it possible. Practice question. Let's test your understanding with an exam-style question. Question. A project manager discovers that a key stakeholder has become resistant to the project after previously being supportive. The stakeholder has not raised any formal concerns. What should the project manager do first? Option A. Escalate the stakeholder's resistance to the project sponsor immediately. Option B. Continue with the project and monitor whether the resistance increases. Option C. Schedule a meeting with the stakeholder to understand their concerns and work to rebuild alignment and trust. Option D. Remove the stakeholder from project communications to avoid disruption. The correct answer is C. A stakeholder who moves from supportive to resistant is sending a signal. Something has changed for them. The project manager's first responsibility is to engage directly, understand what has changed, and work to rebuild alignment. This is Enabler 3 in action, building trust through active engagement. Why not A? Escalating immediately skips direct engagement and may damage the relationship further. Why not B? Monitoring without acting allows resistance to grow. Proactive engagement is always expected. Why not D? Removing a stakeholder from communications makes the situation worse, not better. C is correct because it is proactive, respectful, and aligned with the PMP collaboration principle. That's your complete guide to PMP Task 9. Collaborate with stakeholders. Subscribe for more PMP exam prep. Next up, build shared understanding. Task 10 explained. See you in the next video.